Hi, Robins. Just testing my mic to make sure you can hear me. Let me turn. Let me know if you can hear me out in YouTube live world.
Told you you so extra, but I know I'm the same. Love me in spite of my trauma. Give me what I need instead of the drama.
Hi, Robins.
All good all day, but the night we be going so hard on the flip side. So tell me we'll be on a date, babe. I could keep that same energy. When you go low, I go low too. But you'd rather stay high, I know you. Can we stay high, babe? I'd rather be on that wave, tryna control our emotions. If we on the right side of passion, we could share love in the ocean. But if you wanna go insane either way, baby, we could go all night. We could do it all night. We could go all night, all night. Do we heal, do we bleed? I'ma follow your lead, but we could go all night. Now all of my calls go to voicemail. I block you so I don't raise hell. Should've talked through it in detail. Our separate ways ain't gon' end well. No. But when we get back, it's like
Testing 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
but the night get that good, good till we act right. So tell me where we on a day, babe. I could keep that same energy. When you go low, I go low too. But you'd rather stay high, I know you. Can we stay high, babe? I'd rather be on that wave, tryna control our emotions. If we on the right side of passion, we could share love in the ocean.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Because I was wondering. Didn't want to start showing you how to fix stuff and you couldn't hear me. That would have been tragic. So hello, Robins. I am going to teach you all today some common mistakes that is made when decorating, and hopefully you'll be able to take away something from today's video. Okay, so our first mistake is actually, let me take you to my work studio. So you can join me over there and see all the mistakes that we can fix. So I'm going to let everything load in and I'll show you how to fix certain things. Okay, so everything seems to be loaded now. This is my little warehouse. So let's see what we can start with. So one of our first mistakes when decorating is floating items. We see them all the time and it's one of the most common mistakes. So I'm going to show you a set that I've created Very tiny set. And it looks to be okay, right? Everything looks fine. Nothing looks like it's floating. Everything looks like it's in place. But if you get really close to it, you will notice that it is floating. There's a little space below the book and on the vase in the back, the vases in the back. You can see that there's a little gap between it touching the top of the shelf. So let's do that again so you can see it. You can see that little space there. Oh no, I did not move again. This is just my warehouse. This is where I come to test things out. So to fix floating items, I would suggest using your camera tools. So your camera tools are found in the ribbon on top of your viewer. If you're using Firestorm, you want to go to Avatar and scroll all the way down to Camera Controls. So let's activate that. And you should have a little box that looks like this on your screen. I'm going to move it around so you can see it a little bit. Camera controls will help you position your camera a little better so you can get really close. You can use the plus signs, you can get close to the item, and you can see if it's floating or not. I'll suggest always look at your items after resing them out so you know if it's touching the surface that you want to res things on. Again, this is Second Life, so it's not going to drop. The weight of it is not going to drop on top of the surface. We're trying the best as we can to make it look as realistic as possible. So when this happens, just move it down with your arrows. Another mistake I've seen a lot of people doing is they would look at an item by its shadow. So I don't know if you can see the shadow under these books right here. The books has shadows attached to it. So some people would slowly pull this up until they see the shadow. However, you have to understand that creators, just like you and I, are human, and there might be a mistake with the shadow touching the item. So it's never 100% accurate. A lot of times I've seen that where the shadow is perfectly touching the surface of the item you're resting the item on, but the item itself is floating way above the shadow. So when you're doing placement of little items like this, don't use the shadow, because more than likely if you're in higher settings, your graphic settings will cast a shadow of the item on its own. So you don't have to necessarily have the shadow. So be careful when placing it by shadow only. You just want to make sure and check that, there's no errors in between the book touching the shadow. And that's how you avoid floating items. So again, a good way to avoid it is to use your camera control and move your camera around so that you can see completely under the item. And is this item touching? No, it's not. Let's move it down. So we're going to move all our items down. And we can get extremely close with the camera tool. And now we have a perfect set that's resting on top of this surface. Yeah, you can use the shadow in some cases, but in a lot of other cases, the item is floating over the shadow. It's not set on the shadow perfectly. So it might look to you, to the naked eye, okay, I did it properly. It looks great. But when you get really close to it, the item could still be floating. So in a lot of cases, especially for photographers, they would tell you hide the shadow. You don't need the extra shadow. And we can go into furniture photography later on another day. So for our next mistake is hewing items. Let's say, for instance, you have a chair. Let me just move the camera controls out of the way. So you have a chair and you want this chair to be black or a darker color. And it does not come, it's not available in a darker shade. So the next best thing to do is to hue a light color dark. A mistake I've seen a lot of people do while hewing is that they will make it completely black like this. And by making it completely black, you notice you're taking away all the details from the item that you're hewing. So you don't want to make your item completely black. For darker colors like black, I would suggest using gray and working your way down. So that way it preserves the shadow and the details of the chair itself. There are many other colors you can change it to that would keep the detail of the chair and give you a totally different color. I can still see the details. I can still see the shadowing of the chair in the corner. I can see all the rendering details. I haven't removed any great details from this item. So when you're hewing something, you don't want to use too dark of a color. I just say stay at a middle level so that you preserve the details on your item. So again, right here, there's the little arrow. You just want to move it across like right around the middle part. And then you can use the slider to get as dark as you want without losing the detail on the chair. And that's how you hue something and keep it looking like it was rendered and that's the color it's supposed to be. And it's not completely black where you've lost all the details and it's just a big black blob. So you don't want to do that. So always try to keep your cursor, this little X in the color pick window, to the middle, and use the sidebar to go a little higher and lighter or darker on your furniture piece that you are hewing. And also, if you feel like, I don't like this hue anymore, you can always set it back to white and you would go back to your original color that the item came in. So that's a fun way to add to a new touch to an old piece. So instead of going and saying, hi, I need a pink chair, I can hue this chair and have a pink chair without having to break the bank. So I hope this tip is completely useful for you all. I love hewing things. I use it all the time when I am decorating just to get a different feel on my furniture. And it really does help enhance your decorating skills, because for me, it's more like, oh my gosh, I've never seen this piece. Where did you get this color? And I'm just like, well, I just hewed it. I just added some color to it. So this is a fun way to enhance and be a little bit different with your decor. So I hope this tip does help. Another one of my tips are removing scripts. There's a lot of mistakes that I've seen people do when it comes to removing scripts on their items. And I'm going to go over some of them with you now. So for example, when you walk into a room in Second Life and you have, let's say, a lamp, we are not really turning on the lamp, so very rarely you'll see certain situations where you would use the light from a lamp. Furniture now do come with an on and off switch to a lamp. So if you click it, let's get close to this lamp. If you click it, you will notice that the light comes on. And I'll sit here for a minute so I can show you. I don't know how many of you guys do this, but I know I don't do this. I don't go into my house and say, oh, it's nighttime, I'm going to turn the light on. I'm not doing that, and there is a script that is running in this every time you interact with it. That means it's working. So could you imagine having all these scripts that are working and they're working all at the same time? When you're interacting with them, it's causing you lag. There's no need to have a script for light effect when we can turn nighttime to day or vice versa, right? Now, like I said, in certain cases, this is beautiful. It does add the realistic touch to it. But really, for gameplay, I don't think I need the extra lag, especially if you're decorating a place that is a public open place. Please pull your light scripts out. Your guests are not coming to turn the lights on. They're just coming to enjoy the space. Go ahead and pull those light scripts out. So the first thing you want to do is you want to right click on it. You want to edit on it in the edit menu. And let me just pull this out from the corner so you can see it better. Let's move it out. So in the edit menu, I'm going to open that again. It's called the tool menu. I've been making up my own names for these windows. Okay, so in the tool menu, you're going to go to content. And in the content, there is a script. Go ahead and delete the script. Now, please don't be mindful of the type of furniture you're ripping your scripts out of, because once the script is gone, it's gone. And we don't want to delete things that we want to use the light in the future. So if this is not a copyable item, I'll suggest do not take your scripts out of it. You want to keep your scripts as long as you want. But this item is copyable. It is from 𝐹𝑜𝓁𝓁. I enjoy this piece very much. And I will go ahead, for me personally, I'll take the script out. I don't need the extra script. I don't need anyone coming to my house or a public place and touching the lamp and turning it on or off. So this is a good way to save on lag. Now, if you leave the light on, it kind of gives you that effect already before you take the script out. It leaves you with that illusion. If you take it out while it's off, it gives you an off setting. Now, a good way to add light to a fixture that no longer would have light because you've removed it, you've removed the script. Let's create a little sphere, and I'm showing you how to add light. So this is a sphere that you can res from within your edit menu. And I'll just put it right over the light. This is a great way to add light without scripts. This is up to you. It's totally, if you want to put in that extra work and make sure that your guests, that the people that you're inviting over aren't really lagging. And it's also very mindful of the people that may are running on a lower, I wouldn't say lower quality, but not so much a strong computer that is strong enough for Second Life and loading all the things that we have to load on a daily basis. So if you're being mindful to your friends who might need that little extra, this is a great way to still have that extra beautiful light setting and not so much lag. So in the edit menu, after you've res your sphere and you lightened it up, you can make it smaller if you want. Place it into the lamp. Doesn't matter if it goes over it. It's totally up to you of the positioning. In the edit menu, there's a tab. It goes general, objects, and then features. We're going on the features tab. At the very bottom, it says light. You're going to click light, and of course, the space is going to light up. To hide the spear, you're going to go over to textures and set your texture transparency right to the top to 100. So now you have this spear that is transparent and it is giving us light in the space. So that's a great way to have light without the script. And if you want to add, let's say, a little bit of color to your light, a little bit of yellow, you can go ahead into the same tab for features, go back down to light, click on the color box, and change the color. You can use your slider to make it a light yellow. You can make it red. It's another way to add cool lighting effects if you want to. If you're at a club, you want it to be a little bit more, exciting. These are some fun ways to add light effects without all the scripts running. There's no need to have scripts that are constantly running for lights in Second Life. That's my personal take on that. I don't know. Some people may like that extra realism. And in some cases, for certain things, it does work. But honestly, for me, if I'm decorating and I'm inviting my friends over, I pull the lights scripts out. So that's a cool way. And also, you can also link this item. The lamp is 1 prim. And if you link, it will just give you 2 prims. So it really isn't breaking the bank when it comes to prim allowances. And I say, hey, if it's one less script and 1 more prim, it's a win for me. Yes. There's more slides that you can play with as far as the light setting goes. So you can play with that setting. I'm just showing you a quick way to get light on your lamp. And that's an easy way so that you can take that script out. Some other things that I take scripts out of. Let me just get around this corner. Are color changeable items. After I've placed my items, I know the color that I want. It's copyable. I'm loving how it looks. There is no need for me to keep the color changeable script in an item. This vase is beautifully done by the Loft and Aria. And I love that they allow you to change the colors on the textures on your item. It makes it more, versatile. I'll be able to mix it in any type of space that I'd like. It saves. It really does help you save on spending and buying all the different colors. You get all in one, and that's a wonderful thing. For me, once I set out the color and the design that I want, I pull the scripts out. There's no need for me to constantly have the script and an item that I've already set out. I know what it looks like. I had an issue at one point where when I had my pair, I would go and my chairs will be constantly a different color. Why is my chair a different color when I've set it to green? Well, whoever was visiting was touching the chair and changing the color. And that's another thing. That's another mistake that I've done in the past by leaving the color changeable scripts in an item. So let's look at this item. I've touched it. And now I'm going to change, let's say, texture. I'm going to change textures of the flowers. And let's change it to, let's say, white. I want white flowers in the gold vase. Okay. All right. So now I'm happy with this. This is what I want. I'm not going to change it. I'm sure this is exactly what I want. It is copyable. It's not a gotcha item. It's not something that I'm going to lose. This is it. Simply reach into the item. Now remember, scripts are working on activation. So if someone touches it, it's listening. What do you want me to do? And so you want to limit all of that script that is working at the same time in public places or even in your home. You want it to be relaxing. So go into the contents the same way we did with the light. And in the content, there will be a script typically with the Loft and Aria, there's a script that's called Brains. And so you just right click and again, delete. So now I've removed the script. If I touch the item again, I would no longer get a menu. This item is saved exactly like this. It's a great way to keep the lag down. It's a great way to not have it changed or have anyone changing it after you set it out. I try my best to always not to make this mistake because we don't need these extra scripts. The same thing goes for a sofa that you've placed in the corner that you may no longer use, or you just want to have it as a decor piece. You don't need to sit on it, and you just wanted to have it in the corner to put some books on top of it or a bag. It's not meant for anyone to sit on it. The same way we've ripped out all the scripts, we can go into the content, and as you can see, there's 19 elements. You just click on it, hold shift, click on the last one, and delete. So now if I try to sit on it, well, I'm sitting with my AO, but it doesn't sit me right. There is no menu to change the animation, and it's perfect. So taking your scripts out of items will help you with lag tremendously. Now keep in mind, if you do plan to have a sofa that you are going to sit on, please don't go and pull the scripts out and said that Quincy said to pull the scripts out. Don't do that. If it's something that you know you're going to use, don't take the scripts out of it. If it's something that, hey, it's in the corner, it's just to make the room look pretty, go ahead and take the scripts out of it. Okay? Thank you so much. Okay. So for our next mistake, let me just look at my list because I did make a lovely list for us to get through today. So this one is important. This next mistake is resing transferable items and giving someone your mod rights. I'm going to say this again. Resing transferable items and giving someone your mod rights. Please don't do this. Please do not do this. In a lot of cases, we are decorating for a client and we want to give them the kind courtesy of being able to move the items around and not waiting for us to come back and move it for them. I understand it. I get it. I agree. It's kind. It's loving. I'm all for it. However, if you have an item that is transferable, let's say a gotcha, you've spent all that money playing these gotcha machines that, well, are no longer available to play. You do not want anyone to take your item. So what happens is if you allow someone your mod rights and you res a gotcha piece, they have the ability to take it as their own. So I've resed out these pieces here. These two pieces, this milk carton with daisies and this is actually a gotcha packaging, but it has something inside of it. So there's a whole gotcha. It's called the Hive pile of boxes. This is a gotcha. It's not copyable. Once it's out of your inventory, it is gone for good. If you res this at, let's say, at a client's house, and I res these with my alt to show you what happens if someone that has your mod rights pick it up, right? So I'm going to try and take this. This does not belong to me. Again, I res these items belong to my alternative. So now I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to try and take this item. I have my alt mod rights, right? So let's see what we can do. So as you can see, before you're taking it, it does prompt you to let you know that you don't own this, and if you're taking it, some of the settings will change. The problem is if I take this and I am a client that is not fair, or I'm a client that, hey, you put it down, it's mine, I'm taking this, oh well, I can take this, guys. I can pick this up into my inventory and no problem. There's no problem with me just taking this. It's now mine. You made it available for me by giving me your mod rights. Why not? So now after I've seen this prompt and I say, okay, well, she gave me her mod rights. Let me take it. I press okay. It's gone. And if I go into my recent items, it's here in my inventory. It is mine. It is now mine. And this is how you can lose items. So be very careful with giving others your mod rights. Let me try and take this other box that is packaged. Again, it prompts me. And I'm going to move my inventory out of the way so you can see. Well, hold on one second. There we go. I'm going to click take, right click, take, and it prompts you. Okay. It says you do not own all of the objects you are taking. If you continue, next owner permissions will be applied and possibly restrict your abilities to modify or copy them. Are you sure you want to take this item? Then I click yes. It's mine. I want it. And now it's in my inventory. Be careful when you give others your mod rights. Again, I know we want to be nice and we want to be kind, but not everyone is kind. Not everyone is going to give you back your items after you've spent hours trying to collect all these gotcha pieces that for some creators will no longer exist. So be very mindful of who you're giving your mod rights to and for what reasons, and their access to taking this item from you. So that's one mistake that we do a lot, is we're too kind and we hand out our mod rights. So be careful. Let's see what I have next on the list. Okay, so next on the list is zoom away items. So I'm going to use this box crate to show you zoom away items. Just get out of the way a little. Okay. So this box crate, I am editing on it, and let's say I want to move it. A lot of times when items zoom away from you, it's because of how your camera is positioned. So if we're looking at this red arrow and we're moving this item, as you can see, we can move it. But let's say we're moving it from this direction and you don't really see the other end of the red arrow and you move it, it can zoom away from you. Right? And even if you look outside of your house, hey, it's probably gone. Don't panic. Don't let go of it. Simply press Control Z on your keyboard and it would come back. Now, if in a case, let's say we're editing and again, it zooms away from us. Just get this to zoom out. Doesn't want to zoom away, huh? Okay. All right. So now we have a lost box on this parcel. We don't know where it is. Well, there it is. But let's get rid of this box properly. It doesn't want to go. It doesn't want to get lost. What's going on? Okay, let's do this again. Okay. So now it's lost. A great way to find your item is to use area search. Area search is going to be one of the biggest things that we use when decorating or looking for things in Second Life. I'm always using area search. If you don't know where to find area search, I would suggest add it to your toolbar because it's going to be a great help with your Second Life. So if you right click on your bottom bar, click on toolbar, it's going to open the toolbar button windows. Look for area search and drag it to the ribbon, your toolbar down at the bottom. So that's a great way to add it quickly because again, this is going to be something that we will be using a lot. So now I don't know the name of the item that I just lost. I'm going to type in, I know it's some boxes. I'm going to type in boxes and hopefully something shows up. I'm going to use the beams because I do have 2 copies here. I do have a copy over here. And that's not the box that we're missing. So from the area search window, you want to right click. And you notice it's not editing on the box that's near to us. So let me edit on this one. You notice this box lights up. We are editing on this box. This is not the box we want. As you can see, there's 2 boxes, pile of boxes on our list. So we're going to go to the top box on our list and we're going to edit on that one. And of course, it's not within our space. And while editing on it, press Ctrl Z and it should be back in our space. So that's a good way to find items that you've lost. You've seen that you've lost it. It's a good way to pull it back in. So don't panic if your item zooms away from you. It's all because of the angle that you are editing in. Be sure that you're able to see all 4 points of your move tool. So next on our list, let me just go down my beautiful list. Unknown transparent items. I do this a lot. I tend to forget when I read something out and it's invisible and I can't see it and I'm walking over it and I don't know why I can't get past a certain point. More than likely it's because there's an invisible wall. So for those of you that don't know, you can turn on transparency by pressing Control, Alt, and T. Everything that lights up red has transparency applied to it. So you can see I have a few boxes here that I want to get rid of. And I should get rid of because it's just there eating prints. It's not doing anything. And this is a great way to check on your items. So I don't need this. I'm always leaving brackets out, and I forget them because once I turn the brackets off, they go invisible. And so I'm not seeing them normally. So let's turn transparency back off the same way we turned it on. Control, Alt, and T, and you don't see it, but it is there. If I try to walk, there's something that's preventing me from passing, and it feels like I'm walking over something. That's because I am. I just don't see it. So Control Alt T shows you all the transparent things. Now, if you are a content creator and you have allowed people or friends, or you've allowed resing on your land, I suggest to always do this at least once a week, because sometimes people can be malicious and will res a clear box over the item that needs to be purchased. They would get the money, the customer wouldn't get an item, and you would lose a sale. So be careful when it comes to transparent items. You want to check to make sure that, hey, there's nothing covering an object that I'm selling. There is nothing that's I've resed out and forgot that's eating up my prims. So be mindful to always look for items that you're not using, and, do a little cleaning. And it does help with prim counts. Brackets, I use my brackets for photography. I load animations into it, and I'm able to use it to change it between the different animations. So I use them quite a lot. So another mistake that I've seen a lot of people talk about, or I see them done, I've done, and I find it a little funny, but I'm going to show you. It's called, oops, I've deleted my house. So let me show you how we can fix this. If you've deleted your house, just going to go down to a set that I've created, and I'm going to let myself res in a little bit. So this is my makeshift house. We've decorated the outside. Yes, it's like a post stand. So this is the house. I've decorated the outside. It's perfect. I don't want to res the house out again. I see a box and I'm trying to delete the box, and I mistakenly clicked and deleted my house. Oh my goodness. Hi, Alex. So I wish this was something someone taught me when I first started decorating, when I first started in a Second Life. I wish this was the one thing someone had told to me. Hey, don't panic. I've panicked so many times deleting the house, putting it back out, trying to put it in the same position it was in. So stressful to get it back in the same position. So one thing I have been doing, so let's go ahead and kind of just delete the house and see what happens. Okay, don't get stressed, Robins. Don't cry. We're going to fix it. So we're going to say, okay, deleting a box, and I mistakenly deleted my house. Oh my God, what's going on? I'm going crazy. I'm stressed out. Simply open your inventory and go to your trash. So let me just cut down my list because I think I have a filter on. So I'm going to reset my filter. Okay, so now we're in our trash. And as you can see, there is our house in the trash. So don't purge the item. You want to restore item. When you restore the item, it's going to go back into your objects folder. And then you're going to right click on it. And there's a little button, a little tab that says restore to last position. Click on that. And let's just wait a little bit. And voila, the house is back. Just gonna wait for it to resin and load in properly. And there we go. We have our little houses back. Now this only works with items that are copyable. We cannot do this with items that we cannot copy because you need to be able to still have the item in your inventory. You're telling the item, hey, make a copy of this in its last position. So it needs to be a copyable item. 1. You also need to have access to res on the sim or land, wherever you are, so that you are able to re-res the item in its last position. If you don't have access and you're trying to re-res something that used to be there that you own, it will not resin. You have to have access. The same way, for instance, if someone mistakenly returned your item, it's not going to be in the trash. So let's return the house. 1 second. Let's get a little closer. And we're going to say return. Yes, I'm going to return it. And now it's return. Oh my gosh, your boyfriend deleted your house. Oh my gosh, my girlfriend removed my house. What's going on? So now, instead of going to the trash, we are going to lost and found. You don't have to restore the item. It's right there in lost and found. You're going to right click on it. And again, restore to last position. And it should res back out in its last position. So this is a great way to get your house back without having a heart attack. And you don't have to worry about redecorating the outside because the house goes right back to its last position. Everything is fitting it as before. It's perfect. So don't panic. Now, a get around for oh no, your husband deleted your house. So a get around for, let's say if your house is non-copyable, if you send it back, you can't re-res it to the last position. You want to make sure that, hey, it's not deleted. Edit on your house and then go into objects. So you have the edit menu, there's general, and then objects. Right under the object tab on the left side, it says lock. Click the lock, put a check in the lock object section. Now, if you go to delete your house, it prompts you and it tells you at least one of these items you have selected is locked. Are you sure you want to delete these items? So you can click cancel. Oh my gosh, it saved me from deleting an item that is not copyable. So this is a good way to not have an oops moment. Now, if it's returned, there's no way you can avoid that. If you're returning something that is non-copyable, it's going to come back to you. And that's basically it. So be very careful when deleting or returning your items. but also don't panic. There's a way to fix it. Let me just take a look at chat. Oh, yeah. It's very easy to just res it back out. Well, tell it to go back to its last position from your inventory. It saves a lot of time. It's a great feature that I wish someone had showed me when I started decorating. So it saved a lot of time and a lot of stress and hair pulling. So our next mistake that is commonly made with decorating, and let's go back to our warehouse, is unrealistic size of items. So I recently bought this breakfast platter from, I think, Dahlia, and it's so well done. It's so beautiful. I love it. Amazing. One of the issues that we have is, as a creator, when they bring their items into Second Life, and this is not to nail anyone to the cross, this is just from experience. When they come in, when they bring in mesh into Second Life, it's normally in a bigger size. And what they're doing is making sure it's well textured and all the corners are beautifully made just for you. They're taking their time. And sometimes they're eyeing the items and resizing them and packaging them. And then when you get them, they're a little bit too big. And that's fine. It doesn't lessen the quality of the item. It just means that you have to now resize it to a more realistic size. Now, how do we know that we're sizing it to a realistic size? Well, pay attention to your avatar's hands. These are my avatar's hands. This is the size of the bread on the platter. So I'm going to move this a little closer. This is the platter. And I didn't make this platter bigger for us. Let me just make this phantom. So I didn't make this platter bigger for us to, you know, for example, it came this way. So it's a little bit too big. Of course, I would love toast and avocado and eat this all day. But the bread it's a little bit too big. So if you res items as is, you'll see that it doesn't look very realistic because the size portion is off. So you're going to simply go to the top of the edit menu and go to stretch. You can also get to it quickly by clicking Control and Shift. And you're going to use the gray boxes that are on the corners, which allows you to stretch all corners at once. And you're going to make this platter a little bit smaller. So now when I look at the smaller version to Quincy's hand, you can now see that this is a realistic size and is a great way to get a little bit more of a touch of realism in your SL gameplay. I've seen so many people res out food that are gigantic or bottles that are gigantic without resizing them. It just doesn't look realistic because, I mean, if you're having a big meal, sure, you know, but realistically, you want to make it a little bit smaller so it looks perfect. Okay? So remember, always check to see if it fits into your avatar's hand. Then it's realistic. If it's not, then you may want to resize it just a little bit. Okay, so let's check what we have next on our list. Next on our list, we have how to place art. Now, I've seen so many errors when it comes to art placement because of course we want people to see our art. One second. We want our guests, our visitors, we want everyone to see our art. Once we res them out, we want to be able to show them off. And art typically makes a room appear taller or wider. Depending on how you place it, you will get that effect. Now, let's take this picture frame for example. If I put it in a long way where it looks more, I want to say more vertical, it will make the ceiling look very tall. Like, where is the ceiling? It will make you feel like you're in a place that has a high ceiling. Now, if I turn it more on its side, let's just rotate this picture. It will make the space feel wider. It's a simple way to play on your eyes. Now, when placing art, use the move arrows. Think of the red arrow as your eyesight. You want to place your artwork at eye level or just above the avatar's eye level. Why? Because no one is going to walk into your house and use their camera control for artwork that are all the way up here. No one's doing that. Well, I mean, some of the nosy people would, maybe me. But realistically, we're gonna miss the beauty of that. And what happens when you place your art too high up? It makes the room feel so much more spacey and open. Now, this could possibly work in certain settings. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but in certain settings, having the art so high up does not fill the room. It does not fill the space. So having your art placed at eye level does make the space feel a little bit more cozy. It gives you a grasp on the color in the space. It plays on your eyes. It makes you feel cozy. So your art position is very crucial to how you're decorating your space. So again, use your move tools. Use your red arrow just over this. I will think this is Quincy's eye level. I'm looking at the arrow. I'm looking at where her eye is, and if it's crossing straight across my face. Let's get a little bit closer so you can see. You see the red line? That's at eye level. And we want to move it a little bit higher. Let's move this out of the way so it's not too high. I can still see it. And this is a great position. It doesn't make the wall feel like I'm searching for the art. It doesn't feel like it's spacey. And it's a great way to play on the eyes. So don't place your art too far from your eye level. And let's try this with another type of frames. This one is grouped and it's from Fancy Decor. This is perfect for family portraits or pictures of your friends and you're exploring while in Whirl. So I didn't add any pictures to them yet. I still have to work on getting more pictures in Whirl. So these frames are beautifully done. And again, when hanging your frames, putting them on the wall, you want to make sure that they are at eye level. And I'm going to get my avatar really close. Really close. All right. Eye level. can move this down a little bit. Eye level. And the artwork is perfect. It's beautiful. It's not too much. And if you move it just a little bit over the head, it's still the same effect. It still creates a cozy setting, and it's not all the way up here that we have to use our camera controls to kind of get to. So bring your items down. Eye level. Think about your avatar. Think about the people that you have. If you're a tall avatar, invite a friend that you think it might be a little bit shorter, and test it out. But at eye level is normally the perfect spot for artwork and frames. So next on our list, and this is actually the last one on our list, are mirrors. I love having mirrors, and I hang them basically about the same way I would do with art. I feel they add to the space, and no, we're not in the place where we can get reflections and mirrors just yet, but they're still a nice piece to add to our homes or offices or whatever space we're decorating. It's still a beautiful piece. Now, a quick way, and I want to see everyone using mirrors more, because not a lot of people use mirrors, and I just don't understand why. So I'm going to show you how to turn this frame into a mirror. This is a beautiful frame from 𝐹𝑜𝓁𝓁. I love this frame. I love the little heart and everything. But we're going to take just the frame, and we're going to make it a mirror. So I'm going to make this frame a little bigger. Lift it up a little bit. It's a beautiful frame, isn't it? It's gorgeous. By making it this size, I am now at 2 land impact, which is still not bad. And I think it was at 2 before, but let's check. I'm pretty sure it was at 2 land impact. Okay, well, anyways. So now that we have this frame, I've rezzed out a mirror that I still love, but I want to use it on this frame. However, it cannot modify off. You can't modify the frames of this mirror off. It's either keep the mirror or, you can't hue or take it off. If you add transparency, everything goes away. So you can't just select one piece of it. So a way to fix this, and this happens a lot with mirrors, I don't know why, but a way to fix this and get around it and get something new is to line your cameras up. Now, please only do this for your home only. Do not go around and take pictures of other creators' stuff to add to any of your work. So now that we have it lined up, you want to take a picture. And when I say any of your work, I mean work that you're trying to sell. Don't do that to our designers. They work very hard. So we're going to take a picture. And in our picture, we're going to go to, let's see, I always get confused. Select, and we're going to go to save image to inventory. Now you can get, I could afford to get a little bit closer. You can see all the beautiful details of this mirror. So let's take a picture again. And now we're going to save to inventory. When you're taking a picture in World in Second Life, the cost of it is 10 Ls. And for me to change something to a beautiful mirror, 10 Ls is worth it. So that's for me. So now we have this picture. And what we're going to do, since the shape of this mirror is round, we're going to use a round object. So in our edit, whoops, let's get to this perm right here. So in our edit menu, you're going to click on cylinder. It's going to give us this nice little round cylinder with a smooth top. And we're going to stretch this down. It's going to be nice and flat. And now we're going to move this piece over to our mirror. Let's get closer. And we're going to rotate this. And make it a bit larger. Again, to stretch all the sides together at once, we're going to use the white box in the stretch. So we're going to place this and we're going to stretch this. We want to make sure that it's tucked in nicely into our frame. Stretching the edges. So it doesn't hang out anywhere. It's perfectly in the frame. You can afford to move it back a little bit. Okay, so now we have our cylinder in the frame. So now we're going to go over to textures. And in our inventory, we're going to find our image. And I'm going to open the image so you can see what it looks like. That's our image. We have a picture of our mirror. We're going to put that picture in texture. Now we're going to use select faces, and I'm going to click on the face of our cylinder that we have applied our texture to. And in the same texture tab, and let me bring this over so you can see it. We have at the bottom, at the very bottom, we have horizontal scale and vertical scale. And you'll see that it's set to 1.0000. So let's put that number up. Do you see by moving it up and horizontal, it's duplicating. We don't want that, so we want to put it down. So we're lowering the number and we're stretching the mirror texture. So we see that now it's stretched horizontally across. But if you look at the mirror at the bottom on the picture, still we could still see the rims of that mirror we took a picture of. So vertically now we want to go ahead and load that number down on the vertical scale. And just like that, we have a new mirror. And now we can say we have something unique that no one else has. So go ahead and create things, break it apart, make it your own. Don't copy things and sell back. Don't hurt the creators because they're the ones that are making these things possible for us to do. But enjoy their items, enjoy their products. I still love this fancy decor mirror. And it has added a sweet addition to this apple fall frame. And again, you want to link this together too. So when you're moving it, it moves as one. So I remember the frame was 2, and when you link it with the cylinder, it still is 2 prim. So you're not losing or adding anything. It's perfect. And you have a new mirror that you could add to your wall. All right. So this is a cool way just to modify things. I hope that you all learned something today, and we can do more of these videos. I'd love to do more of these videos with you all. Let me know what you think. Let me know if this was helpful. I'm hoping that there were some sort of takeaway from today's video, and you are now one step more confident in your decorating skills. Of course, we're going to be doing more decorating together. We love decorating over here. So I just want to say thank you so much, Robbins, for your continuing support with my lives, and I hope to bring you more content. On Friday, we will be having a clean inventory day. So as soon as I put out that premiere, set your reminder. We will be cleaning our inventories. Mine is in a mess. So there's a lot of goodies to go through. I'm going to show you how you clean your inventory after years of not touching it. What is the best way to start and not overwhelming yourself with getting through and getting everything done all at once. Let me know if you want a weekly cleaning video, and we can definitely get on live and clean together and get our SL lives sorted. So again, I love you guys so much. You guys make it so much fun and possible for me to be here. I want to be here because of you all. So again, thank you so much for showing up today. And if there are any questions, are there any questions out there of anything that you may be having a difficult time with when it comes to decorating? Definitely drop it in the comment section below. I will be here to help you. We will get through this together. We will get through this together. Okay? So with much love, thank you guys so much, and I will see you on Friday. And I'm also announcing the winner of the weekend, the Decor SO weekend sale on Friday. So if you're participating in that, you'll get to know who's going to win that 100K on Friday. So thank you again, Robbins, and be safe, be well, be helpful and kind. And I'll see you soon. So until next time, bye.